Bowie's relevance in the 80s. I mean, from my perspective, during that time I was working as a journalist a lot of the time, and I was working for The Face, and working for a magazine like The Face, which was kind of the most fashionable magazine there was at that time. Bowie's influence was inescapable, and it was almost irrelevant what he was doing at that particular time. It was that he had created something that had launched 1 million people into dressing up and starting clubs and playing music, and boys being girls and girls being boys, and so many things came out of what he'd done in the 70s that it just didn't seem to matter.
Bowie has to be given great credit for at least trying to stay in touch with younger artists. I mean, he's 80% of the time he's successfully backed the right horse and been interested in good bands who've come along. And he tries really hard not to rest on his laurels. He tries really hard not to be a sort of a standard geriatric old rock star like so many do. He'll never be Eric Clapton and churn out the same album every year. He has his hits and misses. Some of his experiments don't work, but credit him with his due. He has championed many bands over the years, from Pearl Jam and Sonic Youth and the Pixies, 9 Inch Nails, Placebo. Now, from that list of names, you can see for yourself that some of those that were wise ideas, some of those were not wise ideas to back. But Arcade Fire, more recently, he's picked a winner there for sure.
I mean, I'm not sure if I get the Arcade Fire, but the thing I applaud is that Bowie, needs to keep an ear out. And I think it's fascinating because he's always done it, and I can imagine him when he's sort of 90 and he's in his rest home with Tina Weymouth, the Talking Heads, always used to say it'll be Eno, Byrne, and Bowie sitting on the veranda of their rest home, sort of talking about ambient concepts. I think he'll be there, and he'll still be plugging in and catching some new sound. But the problem is most new sounds remind him of him in his youth, because there is some nod to, whether stylistically or conceptually, to what Bowie did.
Generally, he still has a very good ear. Of course, he makes howlers, but then who among us can say that 100% of our record collection is faultless?
As we know, he went on to do a lot of different things, some of which seemed hopelessly misguided, and some of them which seemed okay. But how can you live with that much influence? When wherever you go, you can sense the echoes of what you've done in the past. So it's like having to live with nostalgia as a kind of suit of clothes, in a way. It must be very, very difficult, and I don't know. I suppose I sort of admire him for surviving that and carrying on doing whatever he does.